Alright, if you would like to tell me what is your gamer tag.
Right. Uh, yeah, it's Danger Close, TUH.
And what is your real name, if you would like to reveal who you are?
Yes, it's John Lee.
John
Yeah.
Lee. Very interesting, John.
Cheers.
Okay. Can you believe the TUH is still running after 3 years, John?
Um, it's been hard. We've had our ups and downs like most clans have. Um, but we've had a core 3 or 4 players that have held everything together. Um, that have managed to bring in new members. Just as, we've had people leave, the 3 or 4 core members, we've always managed just to keep a good COD side together. A good, 8 to 10 members that have been pretty regular. So when we've been, when we've been struggling a little bit, we've always managed to pull through it. And as you well know, you've helped us out in the past as well with the clan that you used to run. Was ICU, which was very good. Where we both came together and we played games together. I do believe it was Gears and a couple of other things. But I'm really pleased at the way it's gone. And at the moment, we've got quite a few members at the moment. We've got 2 COD teams now. We've got 2 FIFA teams. So as a clan, we're just looking really good and looking really strong. So quite pleased with the way things have turned out.
Yeah, well, looking at the forums the other day, I do believe on the WGL we have currently 32 members, if I'm right in saying, on the WGL alone.
Yep, that's right. Yep, we've got 32 active members, which all do a lot of work for the clan. Mostly now because I seem to be a bit busy now. As you well know, I've got 7 children, so a lot of my time is taken up. But I've got a good set of admins and I've got good people there that help out and take over from me to help out and do the stuff on the forums and keep everyone updated on where we're going and what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, in all your time with Command at TUH, what do you think would be for instance, which would be your favorite season at your team did the best?
Yeah, that had to be the WGL Season 5, I think it was, back on Modern Warfare 3. We won the Hardcore Search Championship League. And only losing 1 game. That was about the best season that I've had, really. That's one of the best seasons TUH have had, anyway. We have done well also in the mixed modes. When it first came out, we had a couple of good seasons on Black Ops, the first Black Ops. But that was that's the highlight, really.
Okay. And how do you think the first and second team will fare on the up and coming cups?
Well, I think Lubo's mob, I think they'll do quite well. They've got some good players in there. Got some good, rushers and, people that, gamers that will just get stuck in there. Second team, as you well know, it's me and you are leading it. We'll do okay, I think. It's going to take a little bit of time. Hopefully we can gel a bit. We've had a couple of bad friendly results, but, hopefully we can do well.
That's good to hear. Also, what are your thoughts of Black Ops 2 in general?
I mean, I don't mind it. It's okay. It's not as good as, I mean, I did prefer Modern Warfare 3. I do prefer the Modern Warfare's type of games. Like, I'm really looking forward to Ghosts and that. But I think Black Ops 2 is a little bit of a letdown. Wasn't as good as, say, the first Black Ops. But, it's just one of them things that everyone plays, really. most people will slag it off and that, but at the end of the day, um, it's the cod that's out. So you just get on with it.
Yeah, I can understand. So what do you think your favorite type of game mode so far would be in Black Ops to itself?
Um, well, funny enough, it has to be hardcore kill confirmed. I quite like that. And of course, second is search. As you well know, TUH mainly play search only. But I do enjoy kill confirmed.
Okay. What is your favorite type of setup for publics, and which gun do you find yourself using the most?
At the moment, I mean, I'm using the AN94 with a reflex scope, uh, perk, hardline, perk 2 scavenger, 3 is engineer. I also put wildcard on. I put danger close on so I can have me 2 claymores. Um, I do. My other setup that I do like is the assault rifle. Is the M8A1, and that's again with the reflex sight. Um, Slightly different on the tactical because I like to use impact in perk 3. I use engineer and then tactical is black hat. Um, just to hack claymores and stuff. But yeah, that's about my 2 favourite setups at the moment.
Yeah. Where did you originally get your gamer tag from? Or what gave you the idea to come up with Danger Close?
Well, bit of a story behind that. A lot of the guys when I first started the clan and that, I used to go around with an RPG and all that, and I got a bit of a thing where they just kept calling, oh look, here he comes, he's got his danger close on, um, with his with his RPGs and whatever, and that's where that really came from.
Okay, that's an interesting story, John. Um, for all the Call of Duties, including Modern Warfare series, which do you think you enjoyed the best?
Um, COD 4 was one of my was what started me off on Call of Duties. I think I clocked up about between 36 and 38 days on it. Um, but I did enjoy World at War. I like the guns and stuff that we used in that. So it's a toss up between them two really. Um, COD 4 and World at War, did enjoy really playing the both of them. That's been about the best so far.
Okay, that's fine. What other games besides from playing the normal of like the Black Ops 2 and FIFA, what other games do you enjoy playing?
Well, apart from as you just said, COD and FIFA, it has to be Resident Evil series. I've quite liked them, and and Halo as well. Just the story mode, no, not so much as the multiplayer. Just the story modes, and of course, I've always enjoyed Resident Evil.
Okay. And how do you think your favourite team, Crystal Palace, will do this season in the Premiership?
But that's a tricky one. That one. Hopefully, we can just about stay up. I mean, if we finish, say, fourth from the bottom, I should be quite happy with that. I think Holloway needs to bring in uh, one or two players, but hopefully, we just have enough just to stay up.
Okay, John. We're near the ending of this interview, Ginger. I have one last question before the interview ends. Is what are your thoughts of the next gen console and with Ghosts and FIFA?
Start off with Ghosts. Yeah, really looking forward to it. From what I've seen so far, It's quite good. It's got a lot of new stuff in it, so definitely looking forward to that. And of course, on FIFA 14, I'm definitely looking forward to the Ultimate Team as well. Plus, because if you do get the Xbox One version, it comes with some special players, legends, I do believe it's called. Old players players from the past that you can use, especially for the Ultimate Team. But going back to the Xbox One, yeah, I think it worked out all right. I think Microsoft have listened to a lot of people, to a lot of complaints, um, to what they was unhappy with, and they listened and they've made changes, and I think they've made changes to the better, and it's convinced me to go out and get one with that.
That's good. That's good to hear because personally I'm getting it myself, but that's here nor there. Anyway, have you any final thoughts before I end this interview?
No, just that hope we can do well in this in the WGL Cups, and that's basically it. And I hope we can carry on and as a clan go from strength to strength.
All right. Yet again, thank you for letting me interview you, John, and you will see this presently soon. So I am. Thank you for letting me interview you again, John, and hopefully this is peace out from me as I am Sergeant Nicol.
Okay.
All right. My name is Sergeant Nikon, and today I am going to be interviewing this person who's here with me. First of all, what is your gamer
My
tag?
gamer tag is Shauny Bones, Mr. Nikon.
And what is your real name, if you would like to reveal it?
So no problem revealing it. My real name is Sean Akerman, and I am from Cardiff in Wales and in the UK, in case some people don't know that.
That's fine, mate. Um, as the WGL community manager, what is in your daily routine?
Oh goodness, it's kind of the WGL community manager is more of what I do now is a little different to what I did when I first became the community manager at the WGL back in November. And I'm not going to go, I could probably go and drone on for about half hour about what I do and so on and so forth and how I got to where I am. But realistically, on a day-to-day on the WGL nowadays, as being a community manager as well as a super admin, I basically enforce all the leagues on the WGL, so I keep an eye out on all the leagues and offer help where I can. I'll also manage all the gamer tags on the website, and as part of my community manager role, I'll manage the Facebook, Twitter, and the news articles on the WGL to make sure that everything going out is essentially for the community, and which is good, which is right for the community, and hopefully getting more and more people every day, which is what we've been doing. In fact, going from back in November of 2012, going from 8,000 members to 11,000 members as of today. So it's a nice little number to know of, knowing the expansion of the WGL.
That's good to hear. I know you're a big fan of Gears of War, like myself. If you had, if you had to choose your favorite Gears and why?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I would, as bizarre as this is, some people might be a little bit crazy. I'd say Gears of War 2 because Gears of War 2 was one of two games I played on Xbox Live when I first got it, along with FIFA 09. Gears of War 2, I can recall so many times I would be up all night playing that game with my friends, whether it be private lobbies or in public. And obviously you have the infamous laggy lobbies, so on and so forth. But something about Gears 2 just stuck to me, and it was just that time where it was just a really fun time to play on Xbox Live on Gears of War, and I absolutely adored Gears of War 2 when playing it.
That's good to hear. Which is your favorite player and why?
Oh, I'd say personally my favorite character in Gears of War is Bayard, although in one regards I don't like the way he acts, so to speak, with his braggish attitude, but I do love his catchphrases when, for example, getting the headshot, he'd often say lobotomized, so on and so forth. He has many sayings. I do love the way, I just love playing Bayard, whether it be on Gears of War 2, 3, or Judgment, or maybe Gears of War 1 now and then.
That's good. Um, what type of game mode do you like in Gears in general?
Originally, I love game modes that have this whole one life base. For example, so Execution in Gears of War 2 or Warzone, i.e. you die once, you don't spawn for the rest of the round. I really love those game modes because not only do you need teamwork, but it promotes a lot of individual performances from players that need to step up when needed. Many a times when either casting or playing, you can see these players who just pull out outrageous little clutches in Execution, for example, and I really do love that game type for a game like Gears of War.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, isn't it? Is there a game mode on COD you would like to see on Gears or vice versa?
Oh, well, that's interesting because I honestly think there's a lot of people who have said this back when Gears of War 3, Gears of War Competitive, should I say, was in its heyday back in 2012. And that would be some sort of game type where you have to carry either a bomb or a flag and then deliver it to a destination. A lot of people seem to have this feeling that if the game mode like that was brought in, so basically to capture the flag, for example, if that was brought into a Gears of War type environment, I think it would work really well because you just don't know what to expect from it, and so on and so forth. But that's just my opinion on it.
That's fine. um, besides, oh no, sorry. What would you like to see in the next Gears game with the next gen console in mind?
Honestly, next generation of Gears really needs to expand upon its multiplayer variants. So, for example, Gears of War 3 and Judgment can only hold 12 players. 10 of those players, shall I say, 2 of them being spectators. So 10 players, 2 spectators. It's good, but in a way you want a lot of players because you can only imagine lobbies, for example, 18 players, so on and so forth. And with next gen, there's a lot of features that so many games can now adapt upon and expand upon. And for Gears of War, there's so many things that can be said about it. It just depends of whether it will still truly be Gears of War if they're brought in. It could be so many things, but my main issue, not issue so to speak, but my main suggestion for it would maybe be to increase the player slots on the future Gears of War for next gen.
That's grand. Also, with staying on topic with the next gen, what would you think it provide within esports?
Next generation in esports is going to provide not only from a casual point of view, for example, you can be someone in this is appealing to me right now. I'm someone who doesn't have a capture card, but here I can go on my Xbox, for example, and live stream, or maybe go on my PS4 and live stream. And this is something that some people running little tournaments that they can live stream themselves might be able to do from now on. Not only that, next generation for esports means a lot of games can now fit in so much more content that might be for esports, for example. Some games obviously have so much content packed into them that spectators, so on and so forth, might be a little bit shoddy because of all the content they've packed beforehand. With next gen, they can really step it up. Who knows what we might see in the future with in regards to next generation and esports. There could be so many different little features coming out, and to be honest, I'm really excited to see what the future holds for esports in next gen.
Okay. If you had this pick between one, and you're only allowed to choose one, which would you prefer? Would you prefer the PS4 or would you prefer the
It's
Xbox?
kind of that's a horrible question because ironically my gaming console history goes PS1, PS2, Xbox, Xbox 360. So I'm 2 for 2 on that regard. So if I was to pick one, oh man, honestly, simply because of the fact I've been essentially Xbox oriented since 2004, it'd have to be the Xbox One, and simply because of the fact that I have an Xbox Live membership going for another year, so I don't want that to go to waste.
That's fine. On the topic of esports, I understand that you're an esports writer and also do interviews. So what does this all entail?
So normally in my role right now is currently a European content writer for Esports Nation, and for those who don't know, Esports Nation, pretty much the #1 comprehensive site for coverage within the Call of Duty esports scene. Now, my role can entail either, for example, interviewing a team after an event or before an event, or covering the latest news in the European scene. So if, for example, a new team change has happened in, let's say, TCM or Prophecy, instantly covering that, maybe getting a few words with that team, trying to figure out why they've made that change, and then put it out to the public so then they can read it for themselves and then realize this is why they've done this. It's always nice to know that I have that ability to just get in touch with certain people and then speak to them and then publish it, and then people can go, oh, that's why that person joined, and so on and so forth. It's a really nice feeling.
Okay. And who would you say give you the best interview to date and
My
why?
best interview, man, oh man, there was a whole series of interviews I did back in, I believe it was October, September/October of 2012. This was when I was pumping out interviews on the WGL about teams that had just won our league, certain leagues like Search and Destroy, so on and so forth. I have to pick two, and this is simply the Road to Ice Series interview series that I did, where I interview teams that are going to Ice Series, get their thoughts on it, and I did that with a couple teams. I really enjoyed that because this was me being someone who didn't really understand Call of Duty competitive that much back then, really getting the feel for these teams and how they prepare and so on and so forth, and then also interviewing the casual teams back at the WGL about when they've won their leagues, how it makes them feel, how can they can prepare for the next season and so on and so forth. It's a really nice feeling to know that people are really outgoing in that regards, to really open their mind and give you their honest opinions about stuff like that.
Okay. Um, with bearing in mind that I know you uh, uh, go to a lot of esports events, is there anybody that you haven't interviewed that you really want to interview?
Honestly, that again, these are some fantastic questions. Honestly, I would to interview someone who I would really like to interview. I personally would like to interview someone who, let's say, for example, we'll go in two of my favorite games. We'll go from Call of Duty and go from League of Legends. For League of Legends, I would really love to interview Snoopy from Evil Geniuses because he just has a really fantastic personality along with his team. For Call of Duty, it honestly has to feel. I honestly would like to interview Epsilon simply because of the sheer coverage that their team is bringing. Not only that, but you get to interview, of course, what people are calling King Jude and get his opinions about why he just single-handedly destroys everything and so on and so forth.
That's grand. What are your thoughts on the likes of ghosts in general?
Honestly, for Ghosts, from a multiplayer standpoint right here, it's a little interesting that as of now, there is the replacement for Capture the Flag, as people are calling it, called Blitz, which is a little bit different to the classic Capture the Flag. This is the first time, I believe, in the Call of Duty series that Capture the Flag is not being featured. Hardpoint's a little bit, I believe, is missing as well. So, in my opinion, Hardpoint really revitalized the Call of Duty competitive scene. That game mode really stepped up and made it a lot more exciting. To kick off the series with Hardpoint was ingenious. It works so well to get a series off to a flying start. And without them, it's going to be different, but this is where so many different things come into factor. For example, there's so many perks to choose from, which can be a good and bad thing. Whether it makes a much of a difference, we'll wait and see. And of course, the variety of weapons. For example, the marksman class, the hybrid sniper, and the assault rifle class, as it's called, can make a lot of difference. I can already see some of those weapons being banned in rule sets, and that's another thing as well. I'm hoping that in Ghosts we get a unified rule set for Ghosts, and then of course all of the community can be together on one rule set, and then kick off right from when the game releases and get tournaments out that are all using the same rule sets. So when, for example, a team from Europe competes in America, they compete on the same rule set and they're prepared for that.
What were you saying,
Do you want
sorry?
to repeat it? Oh, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So basically, I'd like to play Titanfall, which comes out in Q1, as it's referred in the games industry. Q1 be Q2, which is April to July, I believe. And as E3 and Gamescom have shown, that game looks absolutely phenomenal, and honestly cannot wait to really get into that game. If that game really takes off, in fact, there was a tweet from one of the people from Respawn, Vince Samprella, who actually said that if the community get behind it, they will support it for esports. And if that game gets supported for esports, I can see that really taking off.
Well, that comes on to my next question. If there's any game that you think has the potential in the next gen consoles, what game do you think has the most potential for the likes of esports?
That is, alright, so I've already said Titanfall. I honestly, and this is going to be a very interesting swerve from me, I honestly truly feel that if FIFA 14, excuse me, FIFA 15, because I'm going to assume FIFA 14 does not have a spectator mode, if FIFA 15 in, let's say, September 2014 was to come out with a spectator mode that people can actually watch online, that people can cast on tournaments online, because nowadays in FIFA, if you're doing an online tournament, you have to either pre-record it or record it on the go, and you don't really get different points of view. If they could do some sort of spectator mode for FIFA 15 when it comes out in September 2014, that is the date, of course, I can honestly see that being the next thing in esports, because football is the number one most watched global sport in the world. There's no denying that. And if that was to extend upon a massive viewer base, which FIFA already has on YouTube, no doubt about that, with a spectator mode for esports, I could see that really, really taking off.
Good. I'm almost coming to the end of this interview. How do you think your favorite team, Cardiff City, is going to fare?
I'm sorry?
I think I'm right in saying your favorite team
Right,
is
now
Cardiff
this is
City.
going to be a little bit ironic, because my favourite team is Real Madrid, simply because back in 2002, when I was only 8 years old at the time, which makes no sense, because how can you understand what's going on? But there was always one player who played for Real Madrid back in 2002 when he signed for them, for the Galacticos, and that was Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo, but the Brazilian Ronaldo, who was just absolutely amazing. Absolutely, he is my favourite player by an absolute mile, and that's why I support him. But Cardiff City, of course, I've been to a couple of their matches now at the old Ninian Park Stadium and now the Cardiff City Stadium. I'm really excited to see how they do. There's a big game for them, of course, against Manchester City. They didn't get off to the best start against West Ham, but I honestly think Cardiff can stick it out in the Premiership amongst the elites. They've been trying to get there for 4 years now. They've been so close every time. They're there now. They have to prove why they deserve to be there.
Okay, Shauny, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before this interview?
Just a shout out to you, obviously, Nikon, for getting me on to do this. It's a bit weird because it's not normally me who gets interviewed. It's normally me interviewing someone else. And of course, everybody who I have either worked with at the WGL has actually spoken to me in some way at the WGL, and to everybody else who's worked with me at ESN, Gears Con, and Real Arcade, and to everybody who might have seen me cast, and so on and so forth. It's been a memorable ride for the little kid who back in January 2012 was watching Gears of War on this little live stream on Twitch and thinking, well, this is kind of crazy, and then he'd get into commentating and he'd come across all of this. I'm a lucky person, I will admit, and I hope I can stay in the scene for many, many years to come.
Well, I suppose that gives me one more question. I know I shouldn't give you one more, but where would you like to see yourself in about 5 years'
In
time?
about 5 years' time, I'd love to see myself in the games industry working in either a community slash beta testing, or as the industry calls it, QA, or esports role, whether that be the esports coordinator of a company and so on and so forth. I just want to be involved with gaming, because let's be honest, I mean, there's a lot of people who can secretly admit they play games a lot. And I wouldn't be here at the WGL and all the other stuff I'm doing if I didn't like games. I love watching them, I love casting them, and I love playing them now and then. I'd love to be involved in that sort of industry in 5 years' time, and hopefully I do end up being there.
All right. I just want to thank everybody for listening to it. I am Sergeant Nikon, and I will see you all soon.